So I'm hoping this video will help you guys take down the biggest buck in your neighborhood. Like I said, all these little things you can do will stack the odds in your favor, up your percentages. But the more work you do, hunt smart, your odds of taking down your dream buck go way up. So you own a small hunting property, can I kill big bucks like my friend or guy I know that's got hundreds of thousands of acres? Absolutely you can. I got 2 real small hunting properties. I kill more and bigger deer than guys I know that get to hunt hundreds of acres. So stay tuned. We're gonna go over the top 3 things that lead me to be successful, that are gonna lead you guys to be successful to take down more and bigger bucks on your small property. It's not the size of the property, it's the things that are on that property. It's not always where you're located. I'm not in Iowa, I'm not in big buck fantasy world. I'm in rural Wisconsin, farm country, and we're gonna start with number 1. The most important to me, number 1 thing a small property needs to take down big bucks is does. I hear too many negative things about does. Too many guys saying, you know, too many does are a really bad thing. You know, doe factories and stuff like that. Well, you got a couple 100 acres, 10 different farms to hunt. You can take down a bunch of does and not worry about blowing out your bucks. Shoot some does, take out some does. You got too many does, they're taking over your habitat. Now I'm not saying if you see 30 does to 1 buck that you don't have too many does and that you shouldn't shoot a few does. If you got some outrageously crazy numbers like that, number 1 reason most guys end up tagging the giant buck they're after is because they're on a doe, right? Does can be your secret. If you guys haven't seen my doe video, I'll put it right up here. All 3 things I'm gonna hit on pretty much relate to does in one way or another. But the number 1 answer is does. You keep the does on your property, you can guarantee if you got big bucks within a 3 to 5 mile radius of the farm you hunt, that if you got does that feel safe, you're gonna have big bucks at least come pre-rut and rut. You're gonna have big bucks, and that's when they're most vulnerable. That's when they're most likely to slip up during daylight. All these big nocturnal bucks running around are most likely to slip up on a doe last week of October, first 2 weeks of November. That's when they're gonna slip up, right? Just because the DNR gives you 3, 4, 5, 6, I've heard some outrageous numbers, up to 10 doe tags in a hunting season, doesn't mean you gotta go kill 5 does. Every property's different. You gotta manage your own neighborhood you hunt, your own hunting land. Or just because I see these guys on TV having a doe day, taking a bunch of does out, means I can go take a bunch of does out and still shoot that big buck. Getting all your scent out there and dragging a doe out of there. Oh geez, you know, where'd the big buck go? Well, it's not rocket science, guys. But if you got 10, 20, 30, 40 acres to hunt, you're going out shooting does, getting your scent all over your property, taking out your buck bait. Good luck, especially if all your neighbors hunt like me. That 1 doe can lead that 160, 180, 200 inch buck right to your stand. Just remember, every doe you take out lowers your chances on a small property to shoot that big mature deer, because you get a doe in estrus, you guys have seen it, 3, 4, 5, 6 bucks fall on 1 doe, bucks you've never seen before. I had an absolutely ginormous buck I've never seen in my life, November 2nd, come in on a doe on this little 10-acre property. If I would have shot that doe, I didn't end up shooting that buck. I ended up getting a nice buck this year. I just felt happy to have a buck like that on my property. And the reason he was there was because of a doe. If I would have shot that doe, I would have never seen that buck. All right, number 2 on the list, security cover. What do I mean by security cover? Well, it can be this, real thick, nasty dogwood, willows, buckthorn. And security cover, let's say you don't have a overgrown pasture area with a bunch of dogwood and thick, nasty stuff. Something as simple as planting a bunch of corn can be great security cover. This little 10 acres is surrounded by 110 acres that we lease out for ag. And when that's corn, you won't believe how many more bucks and bigger bucks are in the area, and as soon as that corn gets cut, those big bucks are gone. So for holding big bucks, it's got the security cover and the food, and it'll attract the does. So think about some corn this season. Another reason I love scouting in the winter and looking for sheds, get to find some buck beds. You know, here I am off a food plot, some thick nasty dogwood, and there's rubs. These trees are all tore up in here. You know, you can see it's super thick in here. Security cover. This is security cover. Bucks feel safe in here. I'm right off the road. Road is 30 yards right here, and big bucks love bedding right here. Why? Because they feel safe. I stay out of here. I hunt the edges. It's security cover. Even switchgrass. I prefer this stuff over switchgrass myself, by the way. Not a real big open woods, but a real thick woods that's been managed properly, where you got lots of browse coming up and you can't see through it more than, you know, 20 yards, 30 yards. Hands down, a big mature buck. You know, they're kind of like grumpy old men. They want to be around a bunch of other deer. So sometimes these smaller properties, overlook spots, overgrown fence row, he doesn't smell any human scent. He's not getting blown out by humans. And guess what? Security cover. Security cover for your does. If you create security cover for your does and your does feel safe, well, when the bucks come in to find those does and they're not smelling human scent, where you've walked over their trails, or where you've been futzing around with your trail cameras, or when you've been hanging stands when you shouldn't be, or shooting does when you shouldn't be, they need to feel safe or they're not going to be there. They will slip up when they're on a doe. They'll cut through an open field sometimes, broad daylight. But if you have that security cover, you're going to hold those big bucks a lot longer and have a better shot of them on your small property. So I've had a few people reach out asking me to come out to their farm and give them some help with their hunting property. I don't have many slots left in March and April here, but I got a few. So if you guys are interested, want me to come out, take a look at your property, shoot me a message. I got my link in the description, and I'd love to come check your property out and help you out. So, all right, number 3 on the list, shouldn't come to any surprise. It's food. It's unpressured food. It's not a big ag field, big open field where the deer only feel safe to feed at nighttime. It's not a food plot that's got 3 deer stands in it, and it's got a guy getting up and down his ladder every evening, blowing out deer in it. What else can you guys do in your land? Unpressured food source. Apple trees. I got a row of 15 of them right here. And guess what? I'm not going to have a stand over top of these things. I'm going to leave them where they're at, let the deer enjoy them, put my stand back. So it's going to be a good unpressured food source. So springtime's coming. Get some apple or pear trees in the ground, guys. That's where I hunt. That's the 10 acres in there. So I line this ditch with apple and pear trees. Planted a bunch of milo right here. Give them a little more bedding out here. This is a great unpressured food source. No stands over top of them. Unpressured browse, unpressured food plots. That's the key. Not just any food. It's got to be unpressured browse, unpressured food plots. That's the trick. Most gorgeous food plots in the world, spend thousands of dollars putting them in, not have a weed coming up in them. If you got 3 deer stands in them, you're getting up and down your ladder every night, blowing all the deer out of that food plot. Well, guess what? It's not going to do you a darn bit of good. Those deer are going to come in at nighttime. They're not going to come in at daytime. They're going to come in at nighttime. They're going to smell you, and they're going to label that as a nighttime food source, just like a big open ag field. So food, if you can get a few small, good, unpressured food sources on your properties. I put in about 5 or 6 small food plots, about 3 small food plots on each farm. Well, they don't have to be large is the thing. They're small, they're unpressured. I get big bucks in daylight in all these food plots. You know why? Because I don't have stands right over top of them. I have stands off trails leading to them, but I don't have stands. I'm not hunting right over these food plots. Therefore, they're unpressured. Therefore, the does and giant bucks feel safe during the daytime feeding in these plots. Therefore, on the small properties I hunt, I'm fortunate enough to take down some really nice bucks every season. So the best thing is, if you guys aren't fortunate enough to already have these 3 things on your land, it's super easy to get those 3 things on your land. Does, number 1, stop shooting does. You're gonna have a lot more does on your land. Security cover. Plant some corn. Plant some switchgrass. Plant some milo. That's all security cover. If you got a pasture, let it go. Let it get overgrown. Get some dogwood, some willows. Unpressured food source. If you guys haven't done food plots, I got plenty of them on my channel. Plant some food plots and don't hunt over your food plots. Has to be unpressured food plots, otherwise they're not going to do you any good. Open woods, do some hinge cutting, do some clear cut, get some growth up to the floor so you can't see right through that woods. Easy ways to improve your smaller property that's going to lead to you shooting more and bigger bucks. And let's make something clear. If you guys own a hunting property or have been leasing a hunting property for a couple years and you put trail cameras out and you've never even had a big buck on camera, well, these 3 things I tell you aren't going to guarantee you a big buck. Never guarantees you a big buck, but they're going to greatly increase your chances of shooting a big buck every year. If you just own small hunting property like myself, and are crazy about chasing big bucks, this is a good channel for you. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.